Hello, and welcome to The Modern Lady, where you'll learn how to elevate your life with elegance. I'm Deborah. If you're new to my channel, please hit that red subscribe button so that you can get an update when I've got a new video to share. If you're returning, welcome back. Thank you, ladies, so much for your continued love and support for my channel. I appreciate and adore you all. Today's video is an interview in a series called Pearls of Wisdom, where I shine a spotlight on elegant women that believe in the power of style and sophistication. Today's guest is none other than Dr. Ida Gibson, a co-owner and etiquette consultant at Common Courtesy. Ida, welcome to The Modern Lady.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much for the invitation.
You're welcome. We're delighted to have you here today. And so let's dive right into the interview. Can you share with us the story behind Common Courtesy and how everything came to be what it is today?
Sure. So my partner and I, Kristen Gomes, we are in a sorority together, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. So we actually met in college over an internship program. And as we just grew, leaving college, starting our careers, being in each other's weddings and hosting baby showers. And just as we started to get invited to events, we realized that a lack of common courtesy or courtesy was missing. And our friends would come to us and ask us for advice. And we were like, we should start a blog. We should call it It's Common Courtesy and just kind of blog about our experiences day to day. Being that we were both members of Alpha Kappa Alpha, I was the AK cotillion. And so I used to have Jack and Jill's and cotillion clubs come to me all the time and ask me to host classes for their young ladies. And so we said, why not start a business? Why not start Common Courtesy? And we consider ourselves etiquette consultants and modern day etiquette consultants, right? Because we both know etiquette evolves over time. So we really enjoy it. And it's something that we love to do in our spare time.
Love that. Love that. And I think it's always interesting the story around how etiquette really almost sometimes finds us when we're not even seeking it. And the opportunity to start a blog or business really just comes out of that and it just kind of falls into your lap. So I think that's a beautiful story. So Ida, I know on your website you have a quote from Dr. Maya Angelou. People will forget what you said. People will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. Yes. Why is how we make others feel so important?
It's so important because I think how you make people feel leaves a lasting impression. Like Dr. Angelo says, you never know how you may impact someone's life by just a small action. And actions always speak louder than words. And so I think that's why it's so important to just be mindful of being present and how you make people feel.
Yes, being mindful is something that's usually very easy to forget, but it's always remembered when we do take that extra step and when we're able to just add that lens and that perspective of courtesy and common courtesy, if you will, to all of our interactions with others. I think that's incredibly important.
Yeah.
So let's kind of shift gears a little bit and talk about new mom etiquette, which is really the heart of this interview today. So earlier this year, you blogged about how to plan the perfect baby moon. So I'm a mom to a puppy, and I actually have just learned this term. So first, what is a baby moon, and what are your tips for planning one?
Sure. So in full transparency, my business partner, Kristen Gomes, she has been blogging about her journey to motherhood. She has a beautiful daughter who I am the godmother of. And our experience, I consider it our experience because when she first got pregnant, she shared with me, and just her sharing her journey with me has been such a blessing. I am not a mom. I look forward to one day being a mom, but just her journey, I was like, you have to blog about this journey. And I love being a part of her story and being a part of her family. So just in full transparency, Kristen is the mom out of our business, but I would love to share with you about what she's been blogging about as it relates to motherhood. So a baby moon. So Obviously, we all know about honeymoons. We know that that's the week after your wedding, or sometimes people take time in between the wedding to go on a honeymoon, just their husbands and themselves, and they go and relax and enjoy each other and just enjoy being newlyweds. So, a baby moon is what a lot of us millennials have started doing. It's kind of the last time you and your husband, it'll just be two people, or and so it's a chance for you to go maybe somewhere you haven't been. Um, After the honeymoon, a destination you've always wanted to go to. And it's just a chance for you and him to kind of reconnect. On Kristen's baby moon, it was a time for her and her husband to discuss the name of their daughter, Reagan. Just time to reconnect and really enjoy each other before a baby comes. And so she went to Hawaii. We always say, check with your doctor, make sure it's okay to travel, get the location that you want to go approved by your doctor. We know with Zika virus, that's very important. So she chose to go to Hawaii. Her doctor blessed that location. It is Zika free right now. And her doctor told her with the flight, break up the travel time. So they actually laid over in LA, spent some time there, and then went on to Hawaii. And they had a beautiful time and planned a photo shoot on the beach and really just enjoyed each other's company. So I think the baby moon is really important if you can afford it and put it in your budget before the baby comes.
That's wonderful. And I think that is really an incredible time to just enjoy and cherish that pivotal change in your life. And so for any women out there that are maybe, early in your pregnancy, this is a great idea for you to consider planning ahead for a baby moon and really being able to enjoy that time with your husband. That's
Right.
wonderful.
Right.
So, children and godparents, this is a really hot topic. What is the proper way to ask a close friend or a family member to be a godparent of your child?
Yes, this is a touchy topic because some people actively practice Christianity or different religions, others do not. If you are a person of faith, it may be very important to you to make sure that you follow certain rules or guidelines as it relates to your faith. If you are not a person of faith, those people oftentimes choose godparents as well, but the delineation or meaning may be a little bit different. So I always like to just throw that caveat out there. I am a woman of faith. And so being a godparent for me is very important. And it's very important that my future children's godparent, or the fact that I'm a godmother, that for first and foremost, it's about showing God's love to a child and leading them on a path to God. And so for me, that's first and foremost the most important thing about a godparent. How you should ask someone, right? So the person should have meaning in your life. If you are a person of faith, that person should walk in Christian values in which you admire. But how you decide to ask them and what you decide to do is totally up to you. Obviously, we believe in common courtesy and etiquette. We like cute, nice things. Kristen's godmother's proposal was beautiful. She sent me this handwritten letter, as it was to come from Reagan, my godchild, asking me to be her godmother. And she also sent these beautiful cookies that had Ida, will you be my godmother? And they were from Reagan. And it was just so cute, so nicely packaged. She actually supported a small business that did decorative cookies. And so it's just really classy. But you can find all types of ways to do godmother proposals, godfather proposals. But I think first and foremost, it's important that you and your husband decide on what's right and what's a fit for you as it relates to the type of individuals you'd like to have in your child's life for a lifetime. And that's very important.
And I'm glad you mentioned that, Ida, because it is a lifetime commitment. It's not just something for 5 years or for the first 10 years or just a shorter period of time. It's a lifetime commitment. And so being able to make sure that you are, as a parent, selecting the godparents that you know will be there and carry that consistent presence in their life is really important. There are so many classy ways to ask someone to be a godparent for your child. And I think that's really cute that it was so tastefully done with the letter and the cookies. And it's definitely something that you'll cherish. And so it's the intention behind how the ask was done, not just an email or a text,
Right,
which I
right.
imagine some people are doing emails and
Yes,
texts. But we can always do a little bit more when we want to
yes.
live elevated and live with class and live with courtesy.
And it's just the thoughtfulness behind it. I always say, anytime you ask someone of something of that importance, Kristen and I are distant, so her mailing me a letter and mailing me a gift was so sweet. But if you're in the same proximity as the person, face to face is always the best form of communication. And I know in this age of technology, like you said, a text and an email, sometimes that interpersonal skill between that gets lost. So any thoughtful way to make someone still feel that if you're not in location with them is great. And so I think that's why it was nice that something was sent, a handwritten letter and a gift.
Yes, yes. The thoughtfulness and the care is so important, not just in the ask of, someone being a godparent for your child, but really throughout your life, but
Yeah.
especially during that occasion as well.
Yes.
So, Ida, what are some everyday etiquette tips that you can share for parents of a newborn, especially if this is their very first child? It's such a stressful season, a stressful time. What are some things that every day they can do to constantly carry that sense of class and courtesy in their lives?
Sure. So first speak as a friend to someone who has a newborn. I think certain etiquette should be followed with that, right? As new parents, they're trying to get on a schedule with this little human. And so it's very important for you to be mindful of that. It even took me a while to get adjusted to, as Kristen has Reagan. We would talk regularly, like right after work. Now I realize that right after work, she's running to the daycare to pick up Reagan. She's breastfeeding, so she goes home to breastfeed and has to get Reagan ready to put her to bed. And so, as a friend now, being mindful that her schedule is totally different. So you may be used to calling your friend at 9 o'clock every night regularly. Now that they have a newborn, you have to be mindful and kind of think ahead about how their schedule and how their life has changed. And even on the flip side, something courteous you can do is send a meal. I kept thinking, how can I be helpful to Kristen as she transitions into being a new mom? And something my chapter does, my AKA chapter do, when someone has a baby, we do a meal train for that individual. We sign up for 3 or 4 weeks at a time and regularly send meals to that new mom. And so any small thoughtful thing you could do to help that person readjust to their new life, to their new schedule, be thoughtful and meaningful about that. I think on the flip side, if you are parents to a newborn, it is hard to balance two lives, two schedules, and then a newborn. So I'm first speak to the husbands out there. Husbands, it is very important that you realize that this new human being is also a part of your life. Not that you don't know that, but be extra mindful of being helpful at bedtime, even if you can't help with obviously breastfeeding or feeding. There are other things that you can do to obviously connect with that baby. And so just be mindful of that and in ways in which you can help your wife. Always over communicate, always overly ask, is there something I can do? Women on the flip side, and I have to tell this to Kristen and some of my other friends that are new moms all the time, let the man help. You cannot do it all yourself. Um, they may not get it right the first time. They may not change the diaper like you do. They may not be able to wash and give the baby a bath like you do. But if you never give them the opportunity, they'll never learn. So it's very important as women that we try to relinquish some of our control as it relates to that new baby and let our men help us and let them do what they can. Because if they never get a chance to do it, they'll never do it. And then you'll be upset because you're doing it alone. And so I think that's some good advice to new parents.
I love that. And I think the common theme that I heard from you, Ida, is really the word that comes to mind is contribution. So, as a friend, a colleague, someone on the outside, or a part of that family, a part of that extended family, how can you contribute in a thoughtful and meaningful way?
Yeah.
As a father, how can you contribute in a thoughtful and meaningful way? And as a mother, how can you allow contribution in a thoughtful and meaningful way? And I think it's always about the giving, the service. And that's really an important part in a courteous and classy life is having that heart to serve and give and help others so that they can be more comfortable and more at ease.
Absolutely. You hit it on the head. Absolutely.
I love that. Well, Ida, what is one thing a mom can do to take time for herself and indulge in self-care and self-love, especially with a newborn?
Yes. So I love that you asked me this because this is something Kristen and I talk about often. I don't have any kids and I love a spa day. Okay. I love going to the spa. I love getting massages. I love getting my mani and pedi. I think as a new mom, the women often feel guilty for taking time to do stuff for themselves. New moms, I'm here to tell you, you will have that baby the rest of your life. They may not be a newborn, but you have to set a routine early on of taking care of yourself. You just have to. If you don't start early, it's going to be hard to get rid of that guilt later on. Something you can try to do is as easy as taking a spa day, just setting time away from yourself to do something for you. And if you don't start now, you will never get a chance to do it. So I think it's very important for you to set aside a day, a few hours to go get that mani, go get that pedi, but do it and set aside time for yourself. It's very important.
And I would imagine, Ida, that sometimes for all the type A's out there like me, you can't necessarily stick to the schedule. So if you're blocking off 4 to 6, 4 to 7, 1 to 3, and life happens, you may have to shift that time, but you need to find somewhere to fit that time and make it happen.
Yes.
And I think that sometimes when we're not able to stick to a schedule or follow through on that commitment, we'll just take it off the calendar completely. But it's really important to go back in and make sure that you're not taking the time off, you're just moving it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's very important. And I want to add outside of like a spa day, because that's kind of my thing. I think something that new moms should also make time for, because we oftentimes have body image issues. If you were working out before, if you were working out throughout the pregnancy, do not stop working out once you have that baby. Once the doctor clears you, get back to the gym, start back working out, because a lot of the times that is what's going to make you feel better about your body after having a baby. So I just wanted to add that because I think that's important. We let go of our health sometimes and we start to feel it and see it. You know, a year after we've had the baby, you don't feel like yourself. And that's because you've dropped something in your routine as important as working out.
Yes, and maintaining as much of the certain elements that related to your health in your routine from before, when you were maybe before mom or before you had your newest little one, is really important so that you still have a sense of yourself.
Yeah.
I've talked to so many women that have said that between the first 1 to 5 years of having little ones, they lose themselves. They lose who they were. And it's really important to try and maintain that, not just for your confidence, but for your well being.
Definitely. I agree.
So, Ida, whether she's a mom or not, who is your favorite elegant role model and why?
Sure. So I think my favorite elegant role model would have to be Oprah Winfrey. I love, love, love how she carries herself. I love her heart. I think she embodies that quote by Maya Angelou, every day in her living and being, in giving back to her community, in mentoring women of color, um, in just her global impact, right? Not just here in the US, but in Africa and all over. And so I think she embodies really people will always remember how you made them feel. And so I think everyone that she interacts with, they have that. She doesn't like you to call her Auntie O anymore, but they have that Mother O feel, if you will. And so I think that Oprah Winfrey is somebody I definitely admire, and I think she is just a class act.
She's absolutely incredible, and she's a great example of having that level of service, that heart to give, and that compassion, really not just like you mentioned for other people in America, but around the world. She's had an amazing global impact to so many lives. So that's an amazing choice.
Yeah.
So, Ida, last question for you in the interview. What is one piece of timeless advice, or as I like to call it, one pearl of wisdom that you live by each and every day?
I think one pearl of wisdom that I live by each and every day would have to be expressing gratitude. Right? Every day is not a perfect day by any means. And so I think every day you're here on earth, every day you're living and breathing. And if you believe in God, every day that you give God praise and thank Him for being here, you have something to be grateful for. And so I think something I live by is just gratitude and just showing my gratefulness to God for being here on earth and even to other people around me, just being thankful on a regular basis for things that people may do for me or just just being here really just expressing gratitude. And I think it's so important to express gratitude in all areas of your life.
A heart for gratitude. I love that. That helps you to have a sense of peace and joy and class as you are navigating through different situations.
Yes.
Absolutely. So, Ida, where is the best place for people to find you online?
Sure. So our website, if you would like to see our blog posts, we try to blog at least once a month. With Kristen being a new mom and my work schedule, it gets kind of busy, but our website is www.itscommoncourtesy.com. We're also on Instagram at its_common courtesy. And then you could follow me on Instagram as well as at Dr. Ida Gibson.
Perfect. And ladies, I do have all of those links in the description below so that you can follow and subscribe and check out all of the amazing content and inspiration that they do share. Well, Ida, thank you so much for being on the channel. It was a pleasure to interview you today.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
You are welcome. Well, ladies, as we're wrapping up this video, I would love to know from you in a comment below. If you're a new mom, what do you do to indulge in self-care and self-love? It's something that is so easily forgotten. And if you don't start out your journey into motherhood, really making sure that you're a priority, it's something that you may not necessarily have throughout your time of being a mother for the rest of your life. So it's important to start early, build that foundation. So I'd love to know from you in a comment below, what do you do to indulge in self-care and self-love? Share with us and we will keep the conversation going. Ladies, thank you so much for tuning into this interview. I hope you enjoyed it, and I look forward to seeing you again in another video. Bye for now.